We talked about it yesterday, and it is certainly an important ongoing conversation here in Mental Health Awareness Month, the month of May. But that focus might mean more considering the pandemic that we've all gone through as a country and certainly as a world. And during the nationwide lockdown here, certain activities saw an increase in popularity.
Yeah, as we sort of all struggled to find outlets, things that we could do in and around people, but not too close. The sport of disc golf saw a meteoric rise. Now, before we show you this story about two golfers who use the sport to deliver messages of reassurance, we do want to provide this warning. The story does talk about suicide and self-harm, so viewer discretion is advised. Here's Jen Latta with this SE Featured presented by USAA.
For me, it always started with, I wonder what this feels like to not feel nothing.
It just takes a moment for you to realize that what you're about to do or you might be thinking about doing isn't worth it. Even if we save one life by doing this, we've saved a life.
You're not alone. Your life matters.
Oh, that was nice.
That came out good.
There's a peacefulness about disc golf, the sport of throwing discs into outdoor targets, that has always appealed to Chad Duncan. Growing up in Western Illinois, he and his brother and sister learned the game from their dad, Barry Duncan.
We were high energy kids. He just wanted us to get out and burn off some energy for the day, and then it just became something more for us because we bonded over it.
No matter how many Frisbees we lost, no matter how much mud we had on our shoes, no matter how many bad throws we had, you went all the way to 18, you never gave up.
I'm not just saying it because he's my dad. He was just such a kind-hearted human being.
Kind-hearted and service-minded, Barry spent 15 years in the U.S. Army and U.S. National Guard. He took pride in his veteran status.
He has a hat that he wore all the time. It was always American flag stuff. He loved it. He was happy to serve for his country.
Barry and the kids often played disc golf at Camden Park, a course across the street from their home. Chad recalls a happy childhood until the summer of 2000, when his older brother Shane, then 17, died in a car accident.
I just started bawling. And my dad heard me. He came running downstairs, wrapped me in his arms, and started crying with me. The first time I ever saw my dad cry.
For a while after Shane's death, disc golf was Chad's safe space. He played almost every day, sometimes with his dad. Then in 2006, Chad moved to Nebraska. Barry stopped going to the course.
You started to notice things were a little off, or you'd notice he was really down about something, but he wouldn't mention what it was.
You could see it, you could feel it. This man who laughed and joked and had such a good time could not look past his hurt and his pain.
Years passed, and Barry's mental health continued to decline. In 2020, Chad finally convinced his dad to get back out on the course. In July, they got to play together.
Barry Duncan still got it. He was laughing, smiling, having fun, joking, which the past year it's been something that you didn't see a lot of. It was just very nice just to see him kind of open back up and be himself again.
August 7th, 2020. Walk me through that day.
My sister called, and I knew as soon as I picked up that phone what was going on. I was scared, but I answered the call, and my sister's like, "What do I do, Chad? What do I do?"
Barry Duncan died by suicide on August 7th, 2020. He was 57 years old. He was buried next to his son Shane and with Chad's favorite American flag disc. While in Illinois for his father's funeral, Chad decided to play the last course the two had played together. As he and his friends were finishing their round, Chad was moved to leave something behind for his dad.
We ended up doing a disc, and the disc said, "Rest in peace, Barry Duncan. Play me for a hole, leave me in the next basket. When it reaches 18, take me to the next course." We put all this information on the disc and left it at hole 1 at Prospect Park up against the T sign.
The disc also asked those who found it to share the moment on social media before leaving it for the next person.
We just got this idea in our head, well, if there's so much traction behind just a memorial disc and the community is so welcoming to it, maybe we're onto something. Maybe there's something we can do that's bigger.
Later that month, Chad and his friend Ricky Murphy created Disc for Life, a Facebook group to connect those who had found the discs and initiate conversations about mental health awareness and suicide prevention.
We wanted messages of hope. That's what we want to ultimately give people. You are not alone. Your life matters.
I took my grief and I pushed it into something different.
Chad and Ricky made more discs, leaving them on courses around the Midwest. But then a strange thing happened. People weren't just finding and playing and posting about the discs. They started making their own and leaving them at their local courses. In just a few months, there were more than 50, spanning as far west as San Jose and as far east as Boston.
What is your favorite story of someone reaching out to you or Ricky to talk about how this has positively impacted them?
We had a guy who found one of our discs, and he found the disc, he played it for a hole, and then he went back out again and he found it again. And then he found it a third time.
Jeremy Desjardins Smith found the Disc for Life discs in Massachusetts, 1,000 miles from where Chad left the first one. As a Marine Corps veteran, reading Barry's story moved him because, he says, he too has thought about ending his life.
For people who feel like myself, stumbling upon something that said, you're not alone, it was just almost meant to be.
Chad, you told us that your favorite story is from a guy who found the disc 3 times. We chatted with that gentleman, Jeremy, and he has a message for you.
Hey, my name is Jeremy Desjardins Smith. I found one of the discs from Disc for Life here at Crane Hill. Looking at it, it brought me to a place that I was a long time ago. I was in a really low spot.
That's why we do it.
Especially knowing that, Barry was also a veteran. It's just such a huge thing that you guys are doing, for those of us that sometimes feel like we're helpless.
That's why we do it. It's for people like that.
If you had a chance to speak with your dad today, what would he say about what you're doing?
I'm proud. I always knew my dad was proud of me. But I know he'd be proud of this. You're not alone. We all struggle. Life's worth living. It really is.
Dad would be proud of that too. You're looking at a photo from the first annual Barry Duncan Memorial Disc Golf Charity Golf event, which was yesterday in Omaha. It came together with the help of the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. Speak up, speak out. You are not alone.
We've talked about the importance of reaching in, right? As well as reaching out. Don't just expect people to go ahead and look for help. Go ahead and check on the people in your life, the people who mean something to you. Now, if you are having thoughts of suicide or are in emotional distress, there are outlets for you. There are phone numbers to call. There are people who can help, including 1-800-273-TALK, the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline.